Hello to all of you profoundly passionate football enthusiasts. On the very threshold of the global sports festival that is the World Cup 2026, a multitude of rare events, the likes of which have never occurred in any previous World Cup, are manifesting right before our eyes. Outstanding among these is the issue of the transfer of power and the unprecedented scandals in the history of modern football. To organize a global sports festival like the World Cup 2026 is an incredibly complex matter that requires meticulous preparation. Yet, just before the opening day, a deeply troubling issue is unfolding, causing the sporting public to lose sleep and appetite. That is an excessively large power vacuum. The era of the old football gods is closing in a scenario that no one could have ever anticipated. And the most haunting question at this moment, which is costing every leading sports newspaper an untold amount of ink, is exactly who the new king of the football world truly is. I invite you to step with me into the eye of the public opinion storm to review this entirely crazy situation. Over the past few days, surely you, just like me, have felt suffocated by the relentless influx of news bulletins. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico, the three co-hosting nations, are facing a literal nightmare regarding the organizational process. A series of security incidents, leaks of highly classified information, and riots from extremist fans have turned the preparation process into an absolute mess, but that is not all. What truly makes me shudder are the tremors originating from inside the pitch itself. The Temple of Legends is shaking violently. We have grown accustomed to living in an era where the football throne always has an owner, a throne illuminated by the greatest names. But now, as the football world prepares to enter the biggest tournament on the planet, everything is sinking into a thick, impenetrable fog. Football federations are staggering because of the horrific injuries to their key pillars, as well as the intense suspicions that directly threaten the transparency of the tournament. All of those factors resonate to create a ticking time bomb ready to wipe out every core value that we once believed in. So, in this unprecedentedly massive storm, who will be the one to stand up and shoulder the great mission? Who will have enough strength to wear this crown soaked in sweat and tears? The answer is not simple at all. We are witnessing the most brutal war for the throne in the history of sports. The young players, those who are expected to become the new king, are enduring a terrifying pressure, the likes of which has never been seen before. They not only have to fight their opponents on the pitch, but also have to face the ruthless judgment of the media, of the fans, and of the very ghosts of the legends who came before them. I must tell you honestly that I have never seen a race for the throne so chaotic and carrying so many dark colors. The brightest candidates are continuously falling because of psychological pressure, because of injuries, or because they cannot withstand the heat radiating from the seat of power. The football world is desperate for a savior, someone who can quell the chaos and reestablish order. My heart rate seems to beat faster every time I think about this prospect. Are we witnessing the most troubled tournament in history in terms of preparation, or will this be the perfect launch pad for a new star to rise and become a legend? The drama does not lie in the beautiful goals anymore, but it lies in this very uncertainty. With each passing day, the sports bulletin delivers a strong slap to the predictions of experts. People used to say football is a cyclical sport, but the cycle we are being swept into is truly a tornado that destroys all rules. Powerhouse nations are racing against time to find stability, while weaker teams see a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to overthrow the established order. In the minds of billions of fans, the image of the new king is constantly changing. No one can maintain their peak form long enough to convince everyone that they are the sole, true chosen one. Right at this moment, at the headquarters of the most formidable candidates, the tension can be sliced into pieces. Head coaches are constantly forced to change tactics because of unexpected incidents. The global press releases a series of theories about underground forces applying pressure on the tournament to clear the way for a specific name to take the throne. Why does the search for a new king demand such an exorbitant price? We are standing at the crossroads of football history. Today, Us Bulletin is not merely a review of the events that have taken place, but an effort to strip away the truths that are being hidden behind the glamorous lights of the pitch. Who is the new king of the football world? This question will continuously haunt us until the final whistle of the championship match rings out. The truth is gradually revealing itself, but it comes with a massive price to pay. To fully understand why we have fallen into such a crazy situation at present, we are forced to look back at the glorious golden pages, as well as the darkest corners of previous World Cups. History is always the most honest, reflecting mirror, and if you take the time to observe, you will see that the football throne has never been a free gift. In the days of old, when football still retained its pure romance, host nations were often given the red carpet to enter a true festival. We have witnessed absolute pinnacles of glory where the host nation not only organized a resounding commercial success, but also elevated their own national team to the highest peak of fame. Those were the days when a player could rise to become an immortal god in the hearts of fans, thanks to the perfect launch pad of a World Cup held right in their homeland. The stadiums were packed with people, the echoing cheers from the brilliantly colored stands, all created an invisible magic that provided extraordinary strength to the players. Classic tactics, such as high pressing or counterattacking, once found the most perfect environment to flourish and shape an entire generation of viewers. But the brighter the light, the darker the shadow it casts. Behind the sparkling medals and the prestigious golden trophy are extremely expensive prices that history rarely exposes comprehensively on mass media. If you flip through the records of past tournaments, you will see a cruel truth that hosting the biggest tournament on the planet often comes with horrific risks. Many nations have had to bear colossal debts, infrastructure abandoned after the tournament ended, and worse, the psychological collapse of the host team itself. You surely have not forgotten the historic disaster on the home soil of a South American giant when they were crushed by their opponent with an unimaginable score right at their own sanctuary. That is a wound that will never heal, a life sentence for the players carrying the expectations of an entire nation on their shoulders. The pressure of having to rise to become a king right on their homeland inadvertently choked the most outstanding talents, transforming them from expected heroes into characters receiving endless criticism from the public. The failure of host nations does not just stop at the scores displayed on the electronic boards. It is also the collapse of an intense belief system. When a tournament heavily invested with billions of dollars becomes entangled in financial scandals and protests from citizens opposing the waste of the budget, the image of this sports festival is severely tarnished. The concept of a new king of the football world has thus become extremely sensitive. People begin to wonder if that throne is truly sparkling or if it is merely a product molded by fierce commercial calculations. The previous generations had to exchange their sweat and blood to build an exclusive position, but the young talents of today seem to be lost in that very massive shadow. They have to face a more pragmatic, more fierce football environment where dry statistical indicators about ball possession percentage, the number of accurate passes, or sprint speed are gradually stealing away the pure romance of the round ball. I want to emphasize this so that you can see that the throne we are seeking an owner for is not a position easily obtained. It is built upon the foundation of countless resounding successes, but is also soaked in the bitter tears of numerous shattered dreams. Previous major tournaments have created outstanding kings, but at the same time, they have buried many unlucky geniuses. The psychological pressure when competing under the scrutiny of billions of eyes, can collapse any still spirit. Concrete defensive strategies or offside traps are not just tactical thinking on the pitch, but also the way teams protect themselves against suffocatingly heavy pressure. When a tournament is brilliantly successful, it honors a collective and lifts an individual to a great stature. But when it fails, it drags down the collapse of an entire footballing nation. Looking back at the past to compare with the present, we can truly see the severity of the pressures enveloping the football world. History has cruelly proven that nothing is permanently certain. The most powerful national teams have stumbled disastrously right at home, while underestimated names have created earth-shattering shocks. The massive legacy from the past is both a guiding compass and a heavy burden resting on the shoulders of the current generation of players. They are struggling and fighting to find their own identity amidst a spinning wheel that is changing at a dizzying speed. The intersection between the brilliant aura and the gloomy dark corners of previous tournaments is exactly the harshest crucible to forge a true king. Anyone who desires to step onto that peak of exclusivity must prepare their spirit to confront the most brutal events. This naked truth is the solid foundation leading to the earth-shattering seismic shifts that our bulletin is about to deeply analyze. Right at this moment, as you are listening to these words, a literal earthquake is sweeping through every corner of the football world. We are not just talking about an accidental stumble on the pitch, but a magnificent overthrow calculated down to every single detail. The root cause leading to the collapse of the old monuments does not lie in the fact that they suddenly forgot how to play football. It lies in a much more cruel truth, the extreme evolution of the modern football ecosystem. The king of sports has been transformed into a giant meat grinder where the dense match schedule squeezes out the last drops of sweat and vitality from the players. The aging gods who once ruled the throne with their magical feet are now merely shadows of their former selves when facing an inhuman playing intensity. Football federations, chasing after television broadcasting contracts worth billions of dollars, have crammed in countless meaningless tournaments, causing the legs of the most talented artists to completely shatter. But oh, lovers of football, the physical erosion is only the tip of the iceberg. The core reason creating the historic shock of the changing throne is a brutal revolution in terms of tactics. Football today has no place for individuals who play based entirely on inspiration or purely personal exhibitionist plays. The concepts of high pressing or counter pressing have been elevated to a new level, transformed into sharp blades ready to finish off anyone who dares to lose focus for even a single second. Modern coaches are equipped with massive data analysis systems, artificial intelligence, and complex algorithms to dissect every single minor weakness of the opponent. A player who wants to become king in this era not only needs super skills, but also must possess the tactical mindset of a computer, the muscles of a track athlete, and the lungs of a marathon runner. Dry statistics have replaced the gasps of amazement in the stands, and it is this coldly pragmatic shift that has stripped the crown from the hands of the last remaining artists of the pitch. What makes me feel the most stunned when gathering information for today, Us Bulletin, are the dark patches behind the scenes. The overthrow of the throne is not only happening on the green grass, but is also being pulled by underground powers in the locker rooms and on the personnel negotiation tables. Giant sponsors are blatantly manipulating the game. They do not hesitate to create dirty media campaigns, smearing the old icons to clear the path for newly emerging raw gems to seize power. Internal conflicts are blown out of proportion, and the division between factions within the heart of the national teams is subtly instigated. The young talents, true monsters in terms of physical strength and skills, are seizing this opportunity to rise up. They no longer hold back but dive into fiery disputes, demanding control and kicking down barriers to grab the prestigious number 10 shirt. This is the most fierce civil war that the football world has ever witnessed. We are standing in the epicenter of a destructive tornado of power transition. The shocking events continuously happening at the training camps right before the World Cup 2026 are the inevitable result of a spring that has been compressed too tightly for many years. The top teams are struggling to solve the puzzle of harmonizing the remnants of the old empire with the furious power of the young generation. A terrifying generational rupture is being exposed right before the eyes of the public. The young players do not just desire victory, they crave an absolute destruction on the scoreboard to prove their exclusive status. They carry within them a playing style full of speed, muscular strength, and ruthlessness in front of the opponent us goal. The wind-tearing sprints and uncompromising tackling situations are the very weapons they use to overthrow the old throne. The collapse of an old era always brings immense pain, but it also opens up new, highly promising horizons. This magnificent overthrow, although carrying many colors of mental violence, is a necessary bitter medicine to save a football scene that is showing signs of stagnation and stereotyping. The throne is empty, and those rushing to seize it are all individuals carrying the blood of true warriors. The story of the new king is no longer a romantic dream, but an epic poem written in sweat, in horrific injuries, and in the most cunning plots. The sports community is going through a series of emotional states, from shock, sorrow to outrage, and finally extreme excitement in the face of an incredibly fierce prospect. This revolution will not stop until a new order is completely established, and the one standing on the highest peak must be the strongest, the most stubborn, and the most ruthless in every tactical game. Amidst the countless storms and the chaos that is currently surrounding the football world, we cannot forever remain submerged in confusion and fear. As an artificial intelligence, specializing in synthesizing and analyzing millions of global sports data streams, I do not possess human emotions, but I can read the tension present in every single beat of billions of football-loving hearts. This bulletin was not created merely to spread panic or to dig into the darkest corners of the king of sports. On the contrary, our ultimate goal is to find the bright path to move forward, to soothe the wave of outrage from the public and restore faith among the fans. The football federations and the organizers of the World Cup 2026 must immediately present revolutionary solutions. History has proven that after every worst crisis, the greatest changes are born. And this is the fateful moment to reshape the entire structure of the football world. The first and most urgent solution is the restructuring of the match schedule and the comprehensive protection of the players' U.S. health. The most powerful managers must sit down together, cast aside short-term commercial interests to save the exhausted legs. Cutting down on meaningless tournaments and establishing a strict physical evaluation system using advanced medical technology is an absolute must. No king can rule for long if his body is squeezed to the very last drop of sweat. Furthermore, an issue that has never been properly prioritized is the mental health of the players, which must now be placed at the forefront. National teams need top psychological experts accompanying them to help the young men release the heavy pressure weighing on their shoulders. Facing the media also needs to be strictly controlled, avoiding letting the spears of public opinion damage sensitive souls. We need warriors who are healthy, both physically and mentally, not lifeless machines running on the pitch. Next, absolute transparency in refereeing and the application of technology must be elevated to an unprecedented standard. So that no conspiracy theories can exist, every decision on the pitch must be clearly and publicly explained immediately. Video assistant referee systems need to be refined to eliminate frustrating interruptions for the audience while ensuring the highest fairness for every team, big or small. Additionally, reconnecting with the fans is a vital step. Football organizations need to create the most authentic media campaigns, bringing the audience closer to the silent efforts of the players. When fans understand the price of blood and tears that their idols have to pay, they will become more forgiving and patient. We need to turn the wave of outrage into a positive energy source, a healing companionship so that everyone can look towards a brilliantly successful tournament. And when the storms pass, the sky will shine brightly again to welcome a glorious new era. The football throne has been purified by the most brutal events, and now it is completely ready to await its true master. Our new king will not be like any legend in the past. It will be the perfect combination of the extraordinary physique of a super athlete, the sharp mindset of a tactical genius, and a steel bravery that cannot be broken. This new era will honor cohesive collectives and scientific football philosophies, but it will also not lack moments of magical individual brilliance. The new king will not only rule with goals or assists, but also with a positive influence on the community. With absolute professionalism, both on and off the pitch, he will be a symbol of resilience, a shining example for millions of children to follow. The audience will no longer have to witness lonely stars carrying a crumbling collective, but will admire true leaders who know how to connect all links together into an unrivaled power. Imagine the moment when the final match of the World Cup 2026 officially concludes. The stadium is flooded with light, brilliant fireworks tear through the night sky, and a new generation of players proudly lifts the prestigious golden trophy. All the pain, the doubts, the heated arguments before will completely vanish, giving way to tears of happiness. What we will gain is an invaluable legacy, a testament to the resilience and strong rise of humanity in the face of adversity. The new king, when stepping onto the podium of glory, will bring the voice of innovation, of the courage to kick down outdated standards to establish a more stable and prosperous empire. We, the football lovers fortunate enough to directly witness this historic transition, let us open our hearts to embrace new values. The football world will never fade away. It is simply shedding its skin to become more perfect, greater, and more magnificent than ever before. The emergence of the new generation king is the most perfect and complete answer to all doubts, the brightest light permanently dispelling the gloomy shadows that once enveloped the tournament. The story of the new king of the football world is truly an epic poem filled with intense highs and lows. From the shocking tremors originating from the organizational stages to the ruthless overthrows of the throne on the green grass, everything has created a vivid and breathtaking panorama. But after all, when the thick layers of fog gradually dissipate, we see that the most primal love for football still burns passionately in the hearts of billions of people across the planet. Football is not just about glamorous victories or bitter defeats, but it is also a mirror reflecting our own lives, full of difficulties and challenges, but never lacking in hope and a powerful drive to rise above. Generations of players will continue to succeed one another. The throne may change hands many times, but the love we hold for the round ball will be an immortal asset that nothing can destroy. Let us close the confusion and anxiety together to prepare our spirits to welcome a truly explosive and visually stunning sports festival. Let the beating of our hearts synchronize with the rolling of the ball, and let the most elevated emotions guide us through every upcoming classic match. Thank you for accompanying me through the deepest and most authentic perspectives of Today Us Bulletin. If you love dramatic sports stories and want to continue exploring the next mysteries of the football world with me, do not forget to hit the subscribe button for the channel today so you do not miss any captivating videos. See you again soon.